So, muffin, actually I'll show you, it's right there. I'm 97% packed up for my sabbatical in Spain. Talked with my girlfriend slash client slash Allana Pratt method coach, who's going to come and take care of Muffin while I'm gone. And like I bought her a bunch of food that she wants, but I didn't have a lot of extra food because when I get back, she's going to help me move to the next place I'm going to rent. And then I'll have like a day or two of downtime. And then we're going to do her third PSI in her series. And then she's going to drive home. So I got all packed up, not just for Spain, but also packed up for this place, and making lots of room for her and her clothes and her work and her food and all the things. So that's a lot for my brain to handle. Packing for this, packing for that, da-da-da. So I'm just sitting down, and I'm really grateful as you're about to go and listen to this next podcast with Esin, and how quickly we began to tell the truth of being professionals in the healing profession, and how we often get too wrapped up in our clients and don't balance our lives with life, friends, travel, dating, all these things. We just love what we do so much that sometimes we get out of balance. And it was so good to speak with her about that. And I'm so grateful that the Uber picks me up at 8 a.m. Out I go. I'm so glad that I'm taking a month for me to be. So enjoy this incredible podcast with Esin.
Welcome to Intimate Conversations, Season 13, Heart Broken Open, where intimacy is an inside job. Hello, and welcome to another delicious episode of Intimate Conversations. Here we are. I don't think I'm getting older, but apparently I'm getting older. Here we are, Season 13, and the subtitle for this year is Heart Broken Open. We often start at heartbroken, but it's heartbroken open. And we have an Instagram live. Now we're doing a podcast guest, Esin Pinarli. Let me tell you about her. She's a holistic psychologist and LCSW, Master's Certified Addiction Professional. So she's also a relationship expert specializing in imago therapy, brain spotting, internal family systems, somatic practices, and psychodrama. Through an integrative experiential approach, she helps individuals and couples suffering from anxiety, depression, addiction, codependency, trauma, and relational attachment issues to navigate life's challenges so they can become fully alive, supported, and whole. You can learn more about her at eternalwellnesscounseling.com. And right out of the gate, I was like, is your hair real?
Yeah.
So we just talked about mom with good hair.
Yes, Becky with the good hair, mom with the good hair.
Mom with the good hair. Well, you're gorgeous. When we were on,
so are you.
Oh, thank you. When we were on Instagram, I couldn't see you. I could only hear you. So here we are being able to see each other's gorgeousness. And Isn't it wonderful as women when we praise other women, not compete with other women?
It's magic. I think it's magic, empowering, necessary. And that's the only kind of people I want to be around.
Yeah.
That's the only kind of woman I want to be around. And I think as women, you know, a lot of times we're like pitted against each other. And there is just, you know, women relationships. I find that my friendships with males are like so different. And I have wonderful women in my life, but I've, have a lifetime of experience of relationships with women. And the way that when you said heartbroken, I've gotten my heart broken before by a woman, and
this is not where I thought we were going to start, but here we are. So let's keep going. I think it's even more painful as a woman to be betrayed by a sister. Like you just don't see it coming. What's it been like for you?
I think I've had these amazing, amazing friendships my whole life with many, many women. And I think I leaned very early on in my career and just as a woman, coming from a very I have a Turkish background. I'm Turkish
Yeah.
American.
Okay.
And so my culture is very close. And so what's codependency in sort of Americanized, westernized culture is very normalized in my culture. So we have this
Wow.
sort of a little bit of codependent enmeshment. And so
Wow.
I love that way. And so I would, my friends are like my family. I would take my shirt off my back for them. I would do anything for them.
Mm.
And so I think, along the way, you grow and you grow apart from people. And sometimes I feel like the universe hears conversations that you don't hear and things happen. And I think, some of my biggest heartbreaks have been from female friendships, but I always realize after the fact, oh, I see why that was taken away from me, or I see why that fell apart. I needed that to grow into the
Yeah.
next level and the next version, and they weren't coming with me.
Thank you. What did you learn? What was the growth lesson? I mean, I can share about mine as well.
Yeah, yeah. So it was, for me, it was, I think I didn't recognize it because I was so in it
Mm.
that I was very codependent with a couple of female friendships where I was FaceTiming with them every day. They knew what I was having for dinner. I would run everything by them. And I think
Oh,
I saw it as I was the table and they were the legs and they were holding me up. I didn't even know any of this, right?
wow.
And so I felt like when those relationships broke apart for different reasons, I felt
Yeah.
lost at sea without an anchor.
Yeah.
And I was heartbroken. I felt like I didn't understand it. And so I think what I recognized was it was what actually made me a confident. I had been asking the universe to make me feel more comfortable in my skin, to
Mm.
feel more confident, to feel like I could depend on myself.
Yeah.
And so I ended up standing all alone.
Yes.
And at that exact moment, there was just a bunch of stuff that happened, like my house, pipes burst in my house, when it rains, it pours, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was just lesson after lesson. And so it brought me into a more authentic version of myself where I wasn't people pleasing and
Yes.
I wasn't, earning love and I wasn't depending on other people. It's one thing to have a community. It's
Yeah.
another thing to be so reliant where I didn't know where I began and they ended. And I didn't even realize
Yeah. Of
how codependent I was in those relationships. So what did was carry the family dynamic into my friendships.
course. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the only way I was able to see it, is when that ended and I could stand on my own 2 feet. And that's when I truly felt like I was like, now I feel like I put my heart back together more authentically.
Yeah. Yeah. You have your own back.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I never knew how to do that. I was always like, I needed reassurance. I needed to run it by them. I needed to, you know if should I do this, should I do that. It's like I couldn't make any decisions.
Mm.
And I was like, I thought that I was confident, but I wasn't. And no one is confident 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We need community, we need healthy people to bounce ideas off of. But
Mm.
the level that I didn't recognize of how intertwined I was, hindsight's
Yeah.
2020,
Sure.
when I finally had enough time to zoom out, I recognized, and I did reconnect with one of them in a healthier way, in a more
Mm.
interdependent
Yes.
way.
Yes. Yeah. I remember when I was 20 years old, I left Canada. That's where I'm from, and moved to LA, but then I ended up in Tokyo. And my mom sent me two books. That's when she left my dad. And she sent me Codependent No More.
Oh
Um,
my God, I remember that. Yep.
yeah, right. All those years ago. So she goes, I'm sorry what I taught you. This is what I'm learning to unwind, and please unwind it too. And it took me two marriages and two divorces
It did.
I'm probably still learning.
Yeah, it takes,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
the shedding of that, right? Like I could still catch myself going back into, I could still be loving and nurturing
Mm.
and giving and altruistic, but not at the cost of myself and not at the sense of losing myself, nor choosing connection with another person over a connection with myself.
Yeah. Oh, let's just like slow down with that one. This is
Yeah.
my whole jam. Intimacy,
Yeah.
intimacy with self. That when we have that really solid, and it's easy to have that solid relationship or have that sense of confidence with our healthy parts, but it's a whole other thing to embrace, love, reparent, and nurture those wobbly, insecure parts on the inside,
Mm-hmm.
so that all, as you said, all the legs of the table are solid from within. And then
Yes.
that person goes out and creates a completely different dynamic of
Yeah.
girlfriends, guy friends, romance, clients, like the whole thing. I just actually had a call with, I've had a wonderful day. I've had interviews, being interviewed. Now I'm interviewing you. I've had client calls and I've had a call with my coach. I've had every flavor of the calls
Oh
today.
my God.
Yeah, which is good. And one of the things I'm coming to see is how safe, and I'm very curious about you, Essen, with your clients. I didn't have a very, I sort of didn't talk, my mom died, and then I
Oh my
didn't
God.
talk.
God rest her soul.
Yeah, well, it's coming up on 23 years next week.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's been a long time she's been gone. But and then didn't really get along with my dad or my sister. So I sort of like said no to family. And I think I became overly dependent on the connections with my clients, even calling them like my family. And then when we're together at retreats, we really are family. And
Yeah.
my coach was saying, because I'm moving to Santa Fe on Sunday, actually.
Oh my God.
This is the first time I'm not moving for a man or my son or a job. This is like where my soul is calling me to move. And I haven't done that since I was 20 years old and moved to Tokyo, to do it for my soul's expression. And my coach was saying, it would be really good to bring more balance so that you're not just relying on the intimacy, the relationships, the how deep you go with your clients, your colleagues, your mentors, all of those who are very safe. Because
Yeah.
we all drank the Kool-Aid. We're all here for intimacy,
Yeah.
vulnerability, but to stretch out and like start community, start to meet more people, go to meetups, etc. Because I've honestly, like we started the conversation, been so burned.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, I'm just gonna stay where it's safe.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay,
Yep.
tell me your version.
Yeah. So I think you're saying something really beautiful. I think what you're saying, and I resonate with it completely, is that I believe that everybody that ends up working with you or with me, I believe is like divine,
Yeah,
and they end up with us. And so we are being invited into their inner worlds and
yeah,
they are trusting us. And there is this, I'm not a blank slate therapist. I could tell that you're not blank slate either. I'm like, try to be with them and be present
mhm,
with them.
yeah,
And it's so funny because my therapist tells me you have to have more boundaries with your clients because,
yeah, seriously.
like you have to have more boundaries with your clients. You're
Yeah,
going to get,
yeah,
you're going to get burned out. And I'm like, well, if my client needs to speak to me about something that happens in between session, like they can reach out to me. I'm not going to ignore them. And it's, I guess the way I look at it is, and it's so interesting because there's this Facebook group I'm a part of, which is like therapists in private practice. And
mm,
one of somebody wrote in and said, is it weird that I want to go to a concert with one of my clients and I know it's unethical, but like I can't imagine going with anybody else, and it's kind of mad that like ethically I can't do this, and that's who I'd really want to go with. And I like felt compelled to write in there, and I said,
yeah,
these are intimate therapeutic relationships, and it is absolutely normal for you to feel
yeah,
this safety and this connection with these people that you are building, that are with you, and they feel like soul contracts, that you're
totally.
there to walk alongside them.
Yeah,
And I'm honored and humbled that they invite me into this part of their world. And I
yeah,
absolutely, and I wrote, I'm like, there's a humanness to this, and there is a, you know yes, we can absolutely have this thought, right? A part can show up and be like, oh my God, I would love to hang out, with this client and go to this, because I do feel safe with them, and I hope
yeah,
that they feel safe with me.
yeah,
And so yeah, there is this toggle, but it is we're not their podiatrist. We're not their, we are this and you're an intimacy and embodiment coach.
yeah,
And I
It's as
mean,
intimate
talk
as it
about,
gets.
it's as intimate as it gets. And
Yeah.
so of course we are in an intimate, therapeutic, coach related relationship that's
Mm.
real because we actually care.
Oh my God, I love them. I love them.
Same. I feel the same.
That's why I became a coach and a counselor and a facilitator, not a therapist, because it didn't make any sense to me when I was starting to go into this work. I was at the grocery store and I was like, we saw the therapist of my son. I was like, "Hi!" And she just walked right by me, and I was like,
Yep.
"Oh, don't
Because
like that.
that's what we're taught,
Don't
right?
like that." But so I think that's too much. That's just my own personal opinion.
Yeah.
That's too much. And I am toggling with the amount of letdown I get when, if it's going to be like family, family has all the good and the bad, right? The good,
Yeah.
the bad, the ugly.
Yes.
So when they
Yep.
project their shit onto me, I don't like that. But I really like it when they invite me to a concert. So it's
Absolutely.
like, so do I get to have it all? And I've learned something. Remember that show, The Nanny,
Oh my
where
God,
she
yes.
would move in and
Fran Drescher, Fran
right, right.
Drescher. Yeah,
She
yeah,
would
yeah.
see how the whole. So I had clients. They're complete now, but it was a husband and wife and a son, and they had other children as well. But this, I worked with all three of them, and for a period of time when that hurricane happened in North Carolina, they
Mm-hmm.
were so sweet. They let me stay until I found my next place, and I saw how it all worked. I saw not just what shows up on the hour for the call, not even what shows up in the couples calls, not even what
Mm-hmm.
shows up at the retreat with the rest of the community. I saw the real shit. And it was so supportive for me. I mean, I think we got a quantum leap in what I could support them with, because I'm like, and I would have like family meetings and dinner.
Yeah.
It was,
Yeah. You're like, I see the system. I see
oh,
the system in a way that I wouldn't be able to have access to otherwise.
and it was so phenomenal. But then in the end, it was too much intimacy for them because they were so exposed, where I
Yeah.
saw all the really dark, addictive underbelly behaviors of it. So then all the way to the day of this interview with you this morning. And this, maybe I need to like work on this. I'd love your, colleague point of view. I wake
Sure.
up and my staff is all on the other side of the planet. So I check my phone just to be sure Philippines and India is all handled. And then I go out to have my coffee and I do my meditation, I do all my things. But then I get into the habit of, oh, there's a text or an email from a client. And I have this desire to respond. Now, this is before I've done my morning meditation. This is before I've
Mm.
done my workout. This is before I
Mm-hmm.
filled my
Mm-hmm.
cup. I just have this
Mm-hmm.
desire. And so I did the email and I'm like, stop, don't send it. But that was like painful not to
It
send.
is. It is painful.
And then I had to like try to meditate. And then I said, oh, fuck it. And then I just sent the email and then I was calm and then I felt better. But maybe that's really unhealthy. I don't even know.
So, I mean, healthy versus unhealthy, right? Where like there's all of this. I'm like, do what works for you,
Mm,
because I think that it's about what feels, if you can't focus, right? And you felt like you needed to get that out, right?
yeah.
Um, maybe you want to sit in that discomfort a little bit, right? Like,
Yeah.
what's the discomfort of, I'm going to get back to them, but
Right.
let me fill my cup up first. It's not like I'm not going to get back to them. I'm going to get back to them.
Yeah.
What's the discomfort?
Yeah. It's a
Because
great question.
for me it was I'm going to let them down. They're going to think I ignored their message.
Yeah. They
It's
think I
gonna
don't
it's gonna
care.
just they're gonna think I don't care. It's
Mm,
gonna disrupt this beautiful sacred intimacy that we've developed, that they can depend on me,
mm,
right? And so I had to take a look at, for me, I went kind of middle path. So I
mm.
went with like, so as a colleague, I would say we do what works for us, but
Right.
we do want to get curious about that space of like, what's the discomfort if I fill my own cup first and then respond to them? Why can't I focus on is it just that I have to check it off, or I don't want them to think like I'm ignoring them, or I don't want to disrupt this connection that is
Mm.
so valuable
Yeah.
in both their lives and my life, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like I always feel like something beautiful cannot be ruined.
Mm.
That is real and authentic. And I believe, and I've had a lot of rupture and repair with my clients.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Same.
and I feel like that keeps making us closer, where I'm like,
Yes.
what came up for you? And I'll even say something like that was on me. I think I set the stage
Mm.
for you to expect that all of the time. And there are going to be times when I'm not available,
Right.
and I don't want you to, but it's on me. right? I
Take
also have to
ownership.
take responsibility, right?
Yeah,
Because I
yeah,
always say this, we give people the map to our heart. We have a dance with the people that we are in a relationship with. And it's like, if I've set out the choreography and
right.
then I all of a sudden am not available,
Yeah, yeah,
it's like I'm not doing the right steps and I change the dance on them.
yeah, yeah.
So then I'm like, well, of course I play a part in this. So I always like to kind of own
Mm,
that, my part, I play a part in creating this. I co-created this relationship with you.
right, right.
And
This is good.
so, yeah. And so just, I think for me, I had to sit in the discomfort a little bit where I'm
Yeah,
like, I can still get back to them. And there was times where I had my own family stuff that I had to deal with. And it was
right.
a family crisis and I had to help. And then I'm like, feeling like I'm being pulled in all these different directions. I don't want to let anybody down. I don't, and so I would say to them, I'm dealing with something very important right now. I am not neglecting you. I will
Mm.
get back to you. And then I would give them a time. So I
Yeah,
would say like tomorrow at afternoon, I'll get back to you. And that
right.
was really hard and uncomfortable.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm like, what's that discomfort about? So
yeah.
getting curious about that, I think expanded me more. And I think made me recognize that there was still a little bit of people pleasing and codependency,
Mm-hmm.
like, which is okay because we only want to work on the maladaptive parts where it takes away from us,
Mm,
not the parts that are altruistic, not the parts that are coming from genuine loving care. We don't want
totally.
to, we don't want to dismantle codependency in a way where we demonize it, because I think people who have a tendency to be codependent and people pleasers are wonderful, beautiful people, just harnessing it differently. That's all.
Mm, mm, mm. Yeah, I think I don't know if it's the Enneagram or what it is, but when you're a two and you're a healer, like
Yeah.
you're designed to support, but we need, as you said, the
The
healthy
balance,
boundaries.
right? That, yep. And the healthy
Yeah,
boundaries, which end up helping us in all arenas of our life. I
totally.
find that when I'm doing that and I'm a little more boundaried in an empathetic way, like I call it empathetic boundaried.
Mm,
And then I find that I'm operating a little smoother and a little
mm,
more regulated. And when I
mm,
say regulated, it's not this calm zen, it's that I'm more flexible, I'm more adaptable, I can handle the things that are getting thrown at me, and I feel like more spontaneous, I'm more playful, and I feel like what I'm giving is a little bit better in terms of
mm,
being available because I did fill my cup up.
totally. I don't remember when we had our IG live, but I took a month off right after the hurricane. I took a month off for a sabbatical in October.
That's
And
amazing.
I had never done that in 22 years of being in practice, ever. I mean, a weekend off was a big deal. I was just so hyper vigilant and working,
Yeah.
working and serving and not dealing.
Mm-hmm.
So been doing so much more inner work, and it was a wonderful sabbatical, hard because I saw all the places I was, and maybe addicted is the right word, I'm not sure, but where there was a hit off of serving them and making their life better or being able to be there for them or being relied on. I didn't get any of those hits. So it was a real deep dive into, oh, I'm not doing what I'm teaching self first, not
Yes.
selfless or selfish, but self first. So I
Self
give
first.
from the full cup. So
Yes.
walk your friggin' talk. And I had even lost Essen, I had even lost what do I do for me? Not, oh, I go to this course so that I'm a better coach. Oh, I do this meditation so I can be a better listener. It was still all about them. Even
Yes.
my self-care practice was
Yeah.
still
What else can
for
I
them.
learn? What else can I learn and digest and have more tools under my belt so that I can help them?
Totally. Everything. It was so
Yes.
humbling. All my self-care was still for them.
Yep.
Um, and so I'm doing it again. I'm taking 3 weeks in July.
Good for
I'm going
you.
to Spain and I'm going to go flamenco dancing.
Oh my God. I have a dance background. I danced my whole life.
Same.
Oh my God.
So
Jazz, tap, ballet. I
totally.
competed. I did modern. I did hip hop. I love it. I think that's brilliant. What part of Spain? Because I went there.
Seville, that's where the flamenco was born. So I have to go right to the heart of
Oh,
it. So I've danced all my life as well, but
oh
never
my God.
flamenco. And they made me send a video audition. And they're like, we need you to do the cha-cha-cha, cha-cha. And I was like, I have no idea what they're talking about. So I went on YouTube and I researched it. And there's like certain ways you do the hands.
Oh
There's
my God, I
certain
love
flappy
it.
things. There's certain stampy things. There's like these different things.
Oh, you're speaking my language.
So I practiced and I did my video. And then they said, oh, basic, you're a beginner. And I'm like, ah, okay, that's okay.
It's okay, but I'm still coming.
I'm still coming. Yeah. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna go. I got the shoes, the little tappy shoes,
Oh
and
my God, I love that.
and
I did tap for years, so I know what shoes you're talking about. The
yeah,
ones
but theirs
that
are different. It's not
yeah,
like
they're
a tap
totally
and a
different.
tap. It's little nails.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So it's different. So
Yep.
I've been walking around in my shoes, and I'm gonna wait till I get there to get the skirt because I got to get the outfit.
Yes, you do.
Oh,
Oh my God,
yeah.
this is I can't wait to see it all. I hope you post it. I want to
Oh, of
see.
course I will. Totally, I totally will. And I'm doing this. I'm giving myself like I create these structures to give myself permission to let go and address the discomfort of my addictive hit
Yeah,
of I'm enough because I'm helping serving. But for me, and this is curious, we're kind of going all over the place, but I love
that's
you're just
okay.
tracking with me.
Yeah.
My little girl, if I wasn't instantly putting a fire out, it was going to go bad
My God, we're like, okay, so I was the glue. I felt like that held my family together. I was a parentified mini adult. And listen, I love my mother and my father. They're my best friends. But I was like, I guess I was like a precocious child a little bit. And I was very intuitive and I could read the room and read the
Mm.
energy, right? And so if they were in a fight, I would literally go into one room and talk to my mom and be like, no, what he really meant to say was this. And then I go into another room. I was like so afraid that they would get divorced.
Uh,
And I don't know, I must have been 6 or 7, maybe. I don't even remember. But, I've done a lot of work in my trainings where I guess I was parentified. And again, it's not because I always tell my parents, I'm like, I'm not blaming you. I just want to understand myself better. I want to understand how I show up better because I want to
yeah.
be able to serve people and be the best version of myself. And so I think it was, you know, if I didn't put out the fire, like you said, and I didn't make sure that they made up, then, you know, they would break apart or it would
It
fall
was going to get
apart. It
worse.
was going to get worse.
And I
I
felt
can
like it was
always,
my job to calm everybody down. And
yes,
if I didn't, it really, in my sweet little body, maybe not my brain, but my body feels like, and I will die.
yes.
Like it,
And yeah,
it's really that intense inside my body.
I literally, and it got reinforced in a lot of ways because I would see that I could put out the fire.
Right.
I did put out the fire. And so
Yeah.
I was like, oh, so then it was reinforced. So of course I'm going to continue doing it. Right.
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
of course, on some level, there is a natural draw, right? Like, so I was an English literature and psych major, and I was like toggling. Am I going to be an English literature professor or a psychologist, therapist? I'm like, and I was like, I don't know if I want to grade papers the rest of my life, but I love stories,
Mm.
people's stories.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so what I recognized was that it I'm human, right? So
Mm.
I did feel really good when I was helping somebody or I saved them. And I didn't, I'm like, I'm not really saving them. I'm providing a safe therapeutic environment and I am walking alongside them. But I started out in addiction, right? And I still work with people with addiction, but it was like, I'd have to like call a detox and there was a window of somebody being ready to get help. And I
Right.
would have to call this person. And so it was a lot of putting out fires and Christ. I worked in a
Mm.
detox.
Wow.
I worked in an inpatient substance abuse dual diagnosis. And so it was like I was trained for that job and this role young. And then of course, couples, I do a lot of couples work because I was my parents' couples therapist.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm like, why am I like, and so I'm always wanting, when I see love between couples and I see the wounding, I want to keep them together. And I'm like, it's not my job to keep them together. It's my job to help them, really see and get into each other's worlds and understand each other better, to
Mm.
see how their, childhood wounds are showing up in this relationship, that they are mirrors for one another. It's
Totally.
to create more connection between the two of them. But
Yeah.
I do a lot of couples intensives. And so in those couples intensives, I don't want to tie it back to something you said where you were in that infrastructure of that family and you got to
Yeah.
see things.
Yeah.
When I spend that amount of time with a couple,
Yeah.
somebody acts not out of character, but human. And it kind of
Yeah.
comes out and they go,
I
oh
think
my God, I am so sorry. Like it almost feels like they feel like their mask came off. I go, no, 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 no.
this is good.
This is good.
Yes.
I go, because now I see what happens outside of here because you
Yes.
can verbalize it to me, but
Mhm.
me witnessing it and me seeing it play out, and
100%.
but then shame comes up for them,
Of
right?
course. Of course.
Because there's some sort, and then I explore that. I go, is there a performative aspect here that you think that you need me to like you or think that you're a good person? Because I
Mhm.
do, regardless of what parts you show to me.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah. And I mean, and we, at least I'll speak for myself, I can't be that for them and unconditionally love and accept them if I don't do my own shame
Yes.
work
Yes.
of looking at all the places where I'm like, oh, I'm really getting quote unquote a hit off of how deep, safe, amazing my relationships are with my clients, my colleagues, my mentors. Like I love it. Can I now? So, working in addiction, like when you grew up, right? For me, so I've been doing this for 22 years now, and I'm seeing I was doing how I grew up, but it's not, I think there's a healthier way for me to live. And I'm
Yes.
not exactly sure what the next phase is going to look like, but I'm seeing how I've gotten all my needs met from the career that I've created for myself. And it's rather safe, and I'm very good at living in the middle of nowhere, and it doesn't really matter where I live because I don't really
Yeah.
have any friends where I live. I all my friends are online, or I create retreats and we go to these gorgeous countries and stay in mansions. Like I am totally fine.
I know.
But this time moving to Santa Fe, I'm doing it so much more conscious of the identity. I'm going to call it an identity or a part that likes to fix things fast and put out fires fast and
Yes.
solve problems fast
Yep.
and doesn't slow down and do a more discerning choice making and likes to be in the middle of nowhere so she doesn't have to put out too many fires fast because there's
Yeah.
not too many risks about that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you're in a relationship or not, but I've purposely not been in one for a while to go, okay, the trend is not good. This pattern is consistent. Let's really have a look at this and balance my life out more with community and
Yeah.
my work and not have
Yep.
it be the source of everything for me.
The only source, right? Like,
Yeah.
so it can fulfill you, it can
And
give you purpose,
oh,
it
all the
can give
things.
it can give you the hits, but I'm also guilty of it. Like literally, Alana, like I feel that avoided I didn't even recognize this, but I think I avoided dating. Like I'm currently also single. I was intentional about it in the beginning, but I think I got so caught up in the serving and the doing, and
It's so
then
nourishing on a
it's
real level.
so nourishing,
Yeah.
and then you get this text out of nowhere that says, I am so grateful to be working with you, and I feel like I have unblocked,
Sure. Oh no.
and I'm like, oh my God, this is why I do what I do, and then it's like, I'm like, but it's not as safe to go into a romantic relationship, or because they can hurt me,
Right. Or when I moved
or
to Santa Fe, like go out to the park, go to a meetup, go to a concert.
yes,
Like I was
and
like, no, I'm just gonna work.
listen, I did this. Same. And I am like I'm in the same place as you where I'm opening up more, where I'm
Yeah.
like, I need to nurture more of some of the wonderful friendships that I have.
Yes.
But you get scared when you get burned a lot. And you
Oh
get,
yes.
and you get, and I'm sensitive.
Of course.
And,
That's what
and
makes us great at what we do.
exactly, right?
Yeah.
So there's
Yeah.
assets to it. And so it's like, this is safer, but I also need to, like, what I teach is to take risks, right? And
So
so
we
if
have
you,
to walk our talk.
right? So I'm like, I'm telling you to take a risk, and here I am playing it safe on so many levels. And
Totally.
so I'm like, okay, wait a minute. So if I avoid love, I can avoid pain. And if I avoid pain, I avoid love.
Yes.
And
And love will
I don't
always
want to do
have,
that.
yeah. And
And
it
it,
sounds like we both have had ruptures and repairs in our professional world.
mm-hmm.
So we know we can do it,
Yes.
right? So I'm really loving what you're saying. And the universe, which is always on our side, if you ask me, knows that I'm overly reliant here. So I do get the lovely texts of, my life is better and I've met the one and all the rest.
Yes.
But I've also been getting a lot of nasty ones when they don't want to grow more and then they
Yeah,
leave and they completely project all of their unhealed wounds onto me. Like, I've
absolutely.
had a real good run of some real nasties. And so I'm like, so this one place that I go for all of my stuff isn't so great anymore.
I know that
So
the
I've
universe does this on purpose. The
No, but that's what I
universe,
mean. I
yep.
think it's on purpose as I'm moving to go, let's not put all our eggs in one basket. Let's bring in more balance. I'm changing some business models around and also how I'm going to spend my time. And
Oh, I
literally
love that.
my girlfriend's coming out the first weekend that I'm moving and we're going to play and explore together. So I'm so grateful that she's helping me, celebrate my bravery to try something new. And I'm 55 and I'm just like, and we're just
You
starting.
are not 55.
Yes, I am. And I'm
You
just starting.
look,
Stop. You may continue. Yes. What?
uh, but you know what it is? It's like the thing is that you have a glow. And
Yeah.
I
Thank
think
you.
I think I said the same thing. I think it came up to me in the live too. It's just
Uh,
like people glow from within,
yes. When you
and
clean out the gunk.
and even with certain clients, I'll say to them, I'm like, you have a glow. They're like, oh, I got a tan. I go, it's not a tan.
Mm,
It's not your
true.
skincare. It's not that. It's that you are lit from within
Yeah.
in
Thank
a
you.
different way. And the goodness and the authenticity and the vulnerability. And I
Yeah.
think
Thank you.
that that is the magic. But I
Yeah.
think the universe always does those type of things. I like drugs. At some point with any of my clients, the drug turns on them.
Yes.
So the
Yes.
very thing that soothes them will harm them
Totally.
intentionally. And that's when they start to be able to like,
Let go.
I don't know why I was like, be able, double time to let go of
Yeah.
like, okay, it's turning on me. It's not serving me any
Yeah.
longer. And
Let's have
then
a look.
that's a great window of opportunity right there,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Totally.
I too have had nasty messages sent to me about, how I didn't hold space for them in the moment that they needed it. And that, and I said, listen, I falter, let me know, explain that to me. I've had other messages of clients when they were like drunk and drinking,
Mm,
when I had a lot of addicted clients. And I had
yeah.
a client once like write to me, the only good therapy that's happened is what's come out of my mouth. And it's like, and you're not as hot and savvy as you think you are. And
Woo.
I was like, literally not my job description, but you know what I mean? And like, just like going off. And it was like, and I'm like, okay,
Whoa.
I'm like, are you done? And I said, let me know when you want me to send a car over for you to go to detox. And then it's an FU and it's a, and I'm like, the parents are in another state and I'm helping somebody and they're at the bars and like I want to go over there and like find them because they're going to get in trouble and they're going to get
Wow.
harmed, but it's par for the course.
Yes.
And so I've learned that there are these ruptures and repairs, in these sacred, intimate, therapeutic relationships.
Yeah.
And then now we can extend it out that, what we can handle, building more of a community outside
Yeah.
of this. And we can
Totally.
handle inviting more love in friendships, in a partner and things like that. Like we have to
Yeah.
create the space. And that's what I hear you doing. And I'm in that same exact place as you,
Yeah.
trying to open that space up.
I'm actually excited having this conversation with you because I have a tendency to be responsible for them, not to them, because they're my entire
Ah,
world. But when I have more balance in my life, I can be responsible to them. And while I don't appreciate the hate texts, I know at some point they're going to project their wound onto me because I'm actually
absolutely.
the safest person in their
Yep.
life, kind of
Mm-hmm.
like a child.
Absolutely.
The child generally gets more mad at the parent who can be with it and hold space and listen and not react and
Yep.
help them get through that emotion to the other side. So when I look at it that way cognitively, I understand, but in my body, it's hard
Oh,
when I'm not as balanced in my life. So it's going to be fun the first weekend to be with my girlfriend. I think we're going to have her be my wing girl. We're going to go
yes.
out, we're going to meet people.
Yes.
And I didn't plan any of my VIPs in June, and then I'm taking the sabbatical in July. So I've
That's amazing.
got a couple months to really set the foundation for a more balanced world and do that leaning in to the
Yes.
discomfort of where is the source? This is a great question I ask my clients, so I'm going to ask myself right now.
Yeah.
Where is the source of my wholeness? Is it in outside in or inside out? And when it's outside in, I'm setting myself up to manipulate or be manipulated to get what I want. So
Mhm.
if I double down on sourcing my own worth with my little you, my inner
Yeah.
feminine, my inner masculine, I've literally
Yes.
been, Essen, I've been such a dork. It's been really working.
It's amazing.
Well, I've been
I
having dinner
love,
with myself. I have two plates. One is for the divine feminine and one is for the divine masculine. And she is practicing vulnerability, saying, "Did you see what I did today?" It's almost like I become almost a little girl. Like,
you're
do I look, do I
reparenting.
look pretty? Do you like this? Or, and then I'll sit in the masculine chair and I'll actually appreciate myself more than I normally do. Like I'm proud of myself, but I don't like
Yeah.
actually slow down and go, Allana, today you did a great job. Like I never talk to myself like that, but I need
Yeah.
it.
You do.
So
You
my
do.
masculine saying, I just wanted to let you know that I really appreciated watching your cute ass when you worked out today. I'm like,
Yeah.
really? You really did? Like I'm just a dork, but I
That's so
love this
you're
attention.
doing that's amazing. And so
I
you give yourself the attention, and I'm guilty of it too, starting to give myself the attention
yeah.
that I was outsourcing.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And it's okay. We're human, right? But to recognize that we want to expand our world, and we
Totally.
want to, so you're like reparenting yourself,
I am totally reparenting
it's
myself.
amazing. It's
Thank you.
amazing.
And guess what my latest thing is? When I move, I'm not going to order it now, but once I get there, I researched this online. Do you know they have stand-up cardboard Jason Momoas? Did you know that?
No, I did not.
Yeah, they do. They do on Amazon. Yeah. So I'm going to get a stand up, like he's going to be tall and he's going to be in the living room because I bought this faux sheepskin rug and I push over the coffee table. And so it's my invitation to get down on my ass, roll around and be in my feminine energy because I'm in my masculine all day
Yes.
long. So I'm going to
Yes.
have like Jason Momoa standing in the corner and I'm going to have the rug. And in my mind's eye, he's going to go, "Have you done your solo sexual practice today?" And
Nice.
and then I'll be like, "Not yet." And tell me what to do. And then I'm going to have little stickers, like little kissy stickers. And every time I do my feminine practice, I'm going to put a sticker on his body somewhere.
I love that.
This is what it takes.
It is.
I just keep working. If I don't have crazy ass structure to get me out of my habits of safety, I mean, it's just going to be 55, then 65, then 75, and nothing.
I know exactly. And I'm saying the same thing to myself. I'm like, if I don't make the room for it now, if I don't
Right.
make the space for it now, if I
Yeah.
don't get intentional about it now, if I don't slow down, if I don't actually like really love on me
Yeah.
and really, really fill me up
Yeah.
like I do, and really get outside, like inside, like really fill me up. And
Yeah.
and so part of those practices, like for me, is like I take dance classes.
Nice.
I'm a big hot yoga person. I love
Nice.
hot yoga. I like get on
Yep.
that mat. I do cold plunge, contrast therapy.
Yep. Same.
Those are just for me.
Yep.
They're not, I don't look at it like it's, it's like it feels good to me.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
taking care of me, right? And then taking myself out on dates, right?
Yeah.
And doing things for me, and then being intentional, even in my house, making space in my house for another person,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Making room in there for another person, because I'm really good at being hyper independent.
Totally. Same. I'm just having this vision of like having a date and then bringing him over to my place and Jason
And he
being in
sees
the
Jason
corner.
Momoa there. You're like, yeah, about that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I was just thinking if I hit it, that would be not vulnerable.
Right. And
Can
so
I be all of the wobbly parts of me in front of this person? Well, if I can't, why do I want him around? What am I doing?
I
What am I
know.
doing?
You know what
Oh my God,
that
that's gonna be so embarrassing. But
I you know what it reminded me of? I
what?
remember, so back in the day, I guess Matthew Hussey was like one of the first people that was like talking about whatever. He's kind of like an OG. I bought his book, I think it was How to Get a Guy.
Uh-huh.
And I remember I had a date that was coming over. I forgot, it was like the fourth date, and it was out. And I went and like scrambled and went and hid it in there. I was like, I don't need him to know that I'm like kind of scheming on how to get a guy, or and why men marry bitches.
Oh,
I
did
had
he write that
gotten
one too? I don't think
I
so.
don't think he wrote that. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
yeah. And it was like this, like thing about, and I scrambled and I remember I hid it in my closet so that he wouldn't see it. And like, but
I'm
now
just
I'm
gonna,
a more authentic, like you can see whatever is out, you can see,
oh my God.
any of that, but we grow into that as we
Totally.
evolve and we shift, right?
Yeah. Matthew has been on the podcast, so that's a great throwback. And I'm reminded of my son when he was little, finding my vibrator. What's this,
Yeah.
mommy? And I'm like, that's mommy's toy. And
Yep.
so don't skip a beat. Oh my God, this has been so good. This has been so good. Thank you for sharing your journey. Thank you for sharing your vulnerability. Thank you for
Thank
sharing colleague to
you.
colleague.
Yes.
And I love our balance of practicing our healthy boundaries, but also letting ourselves love our clients and love the work we do and creating more space for love. So, everyone, we're going to go over to Patreon now and we're going to dance our ass off together. And I'm going to ask her a couple other fun questions. I want you to know eternalwellnesscounseling.com. Everything will be in the show notes.
Okay.
But in completion for this section or this portion of our connection, what's been most nourishing, been most valuable, stayed with you the most of our conversation?
Oh, so much. I mean, I think you're just the fact that we're kind of in the same place, and this the fact that you're creating the space for more expansion in your life, and like more than just your clients, that you want to have more community connection,
Yeah.
love, because I can relate to that on a deep soul level, because I have that desire. We're
Yeah.
wired for connection, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think the practice that you do with that Jason Momoa, and the fact that you're taking the flamenco dancing,
Yeah.
and all of that is just so beautiful, because I take dance classes and I make people bring in pictures of themselves when they're little
Mm.
and do empty chair work, like the exercises that you're doing. And
Right.
so I think all of that stuff that you do, you're just so creative and
Mm.
authentic
Mm.
and just real. And I think that's what sticks out the most to me.
Oh, thank you, sister. Thank you. I love how right out of the gate, we just went right to our owie wounds of how women have betrayed each of us, and we get to show up and be brave with each other and love each other
Yeah.
and share our wobbly parts. And I feel really seen and supported that I'm not alone in, like, obviously, we're both really great at what we do,
Yeah.
and it can become like our downfall if we don't still open to have us have as great of lives as we help our clients have.
Yep.
Right. So thank you for opening your
Yeah.
heart to me.
Thank you for
And
opening your heart to me too, because I get you.
thank you.
Yeah.
Likewise. Likewise. Okay. Well, it's all a love puddle around here. So please go to eternalwellnesscounseling.com, learn more about this wonderful lady. Join us over in Patreon. Patreon is something I created, another structure so that I'm invited to play more and travel more and share more
Mm.
vulnerability and share behind the scenes and really go deeper into these crazy practices I do that I
Yeah,
talk
I
about.
love it.
Well, I
I
actually
love
show
it.
them over on Patreon. So
I
we're
love it.
we're gonna see when my Jason Momoa thing arrives, and I'll take a little video and put him up in the living room, and
Yes.
yeah, we're gonna share what it really takes to have the life that we desire.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So all of you, I'm sure there was a moment or two that really touched you. So before you just rush off to something else, take a moment, close your eyes, hand on your heart, and feel into that feeling. Like Esin was so wise and said, what is that feeling that you need to feel right before you want to just go send another text or email to your staff? These feelings, when we bypass them, they don't go anywhere. So take the time to feel it. Call her, call me. This is what we're great at. To feel through those unhealed wounds, to not just to resolution. We're not here just to get rid of them. When you integrate them, you become more embodied, wiser, more
Yes.
confident. And that's what we're on the planet to support you with. So give us a call. We love you.
Yeah.
Mm.
Love you.
Okay, I'll
Love you and all yours.
See you next week on Intimate Conversations. Get out there and make love to life. The skies are big here in New Mexico. The clouds and the skies and the vistas, I just love it. The skies were big in South Carolina as well, as I would walk on the beach all the time. But I'm loving this. I'm missing the water, I'll be honest.
And I believe my human design is called Shores. So it wants me to be near water and an eclectic community. So the Rio Grande is somewhere around here. So I'm going to have to find it. But what I'm noticing since I've been here, that you also heard on this podcast with Esin, is this idea of really just being vulnerable, taking care of ourselves, creating balance in our lives. And as I ascend from the third dimension, fourth to the fifth dimension, when I started my company, it was very much third dimensional. It was, and so third dimension being somebody wins, somebody loses. Somebody's right, somebody's wrong. Something's good, something's bad, right? And so I was so much more thinking I was like saving or healing people, which clearly I'm not. I'm facilitating, but that's what I thought back then. And somebody had to win and somebody had to lose, and I was going to be the loser, and I was always going to put the client first. So when I think about 20 years ago, when I first incorporated, come a long way. And now that I'm here in Santa Fe and very much ascending to the fifth dimension, it's a win-win-win. It's a win for me, it's the win for the client, and it's a win for humanity. And it's self first, not selfish, self first. So, that whole oxygen mask thing. So it has to work for me in order to give from the overflow to clients. And so I'm rethinking what will give my clients the results they desire and work for my well-being. And before it was only what's going to get the results for the clients, and then and chop liver. So really proud of that shift. And also in terms of astrocartography, this is a place for me that's a golden zone, but it's a place for the sun and Mercury. So communication and like shining. So I feel like a sense of freedom and expression to recreate my business in a way that works for everyone. And so Esin is someone who works very deeply with clients like I do, and is also committed to a path where she has balance in her life. So please reach out to her. Please on social media follow her. I believe she's in Florida. I don't remember what city, but I'm sure she does Zoom like I do. But it's also really wonderful to have clients in person. So please check out her site, check out her offerings, follow her. And if you're drawn to her, call her up, because all of us need someone to have our back. All of us, me included, and her included. So it's great to be with a counselor, a therapist, or a coach like myself who's real. And so you don't have to put on any airs. You don't need to feel any shame for what you're going through, because we shared a lot on our podcast of all the things we've been through. And it makes us, I think, more relatable and safer to open up to. So thank you for being with us here on Intimate Conversations. Oh my goodness, please stay and go on to Patreon and watch Esin and I dance our cute little tushies off. And also this month, there's such good questions from you, Patreon members, that I answer in the Ask Me Anything. And I go really deep into not just like a little 30-second or 60-second that I do on Instagram or YouTube Shorts. No, these are long, 20, sometimes 30-minute, real coaching discussions of how to move through these different issues with stories about myself, stories about my clients, so that you know you're not alone and you've got a path forward. So I look forward to all the ways that I can support you and interact with you over on Patreon. All right, all my love to you.